Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Namo Namaha. Alright, I've been a little too busy lately with a bunch of different things, and yeah, just haven't been able to get some videos up, but today we're gonna have a nice long video and get through a bunch of mantras because I feel like I keep writing more and more, and there's kind of no end to all these different mantras that need to get kind of out there onto YouTube for you guys, but I just don't have the time to do it. So let's see how much we can get done today. So more hand practice. We got called Tihai, hand practice, lots of different types of hand practice, finger practice, all different stuff. So let's finish up this one here. So here we've got different laya jatis and hand practices. So we've got gena, tere, gena, teregena, which is 5 for you. Genetere, gena, teregena, bull jati of 5. Genetere, gena, teregena. Then gena, tage, reta, right? Gena, tage, reta, with this thumb to 4 fingers again. Teregena. So you're learning this ta to te again, right? From coming from Tereketa, Tereketa, te, right? Ta te. So genetere, gena, teregena, gena tage reta, teregena, genetere, gena tak, tereketa. Right? And then you've got another bull jati of 5 on the end, and you've got the gena tage reta, teregena. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, and the last one is 6. So you've got 2 bull jatis of 5, and then you've got a bull jati of 6, right? Genetere, gena, teregena, bull jati 5. Gena tage reta, teregena, bull jati of 5 for 10. Then genetere, gena tak, tereketa, which is 6. So very cool, and lots of nice hand practice. Plus you're learning different bull jatis here as well that you can use. So genetere, gena, teregena, gena tage reta, teregena, genetere, gena tak, tereketa. Right, and you can do the lagu as well. Genetere, keta, tereketa, gena tage reta, tereketa, genetere, gena tak. Genetere, gena, teregena, gena tage reta, teregena, genetere, gena. Now again, especially with these, they're very challenging mantras, and you have to keep your hand as loose and supple as possible. And honestly, the more that you keep your fingers curved, like when you're going, all these little movements, if your fingers are curved, they're so much closer to the drum, and you can make huge advancements in technique, sound, and speed by keeping that hand supple and very close to the mridanga by just curling onto it. When you're really tense and straight and more like a paddle, which is how all of us learn and think to learn mridanga and are taught in a lot of circumstances to play in this rigid state, it's so much more movement and motion. There's no way that you can gain any type of speed, and your fingers, as you come like this, really want to start to separate, whereas the index finger stays so much more connected to your other 3 fingers when it's curved. When you're like a paddle, they really want to come apart, and you really kind of end up a little bit too connected to the index finger. So if you're trying to play, it's just the movement is so large that you're not going to be able to really accomplish much in speed and technique. So when you're playing these, you want to be, the movement's still there. It's coming from the wrist, right? This twisting of the wrist, but the fingers and the thumb are very loose and very close to the drum by allowing that that curve in the hand and allowing it to kind of just float there, you know? Where if I'm straight, see how I can't even really make that sound? Now that it's connected, that's tight. See, it doesn't work. So let's go over this one again. Genetere, gena, genetere, gena, right? Genetere, gena, deregena, gena, tage, reta, teregena, deregena, tereketa, kenetere, keta, tereketa, kena, tage, reta, tereketa, kenetere, kenetere, really slow, again the guru. Genetere, gena, teregena, gena, tage, reta, teregena, gena, teregena, tereketa. Forgot what I was doing there. Genetere, gena, deregena, gena, tage, reta, teregena, gena, deregena. So that's a really nice hand practice. I'm not going to sing and chant and show all the different speeds of all these, I think, anymore for the most part, because it just takes too long and there's so many mantras. I don't need to show you how to play them quickly, because practicing them slow and properly is what creates that proper technique and speed. And for the most part, you should be practicing most of these extremely slow with very proper form and focusing on all the details that I'm giving for a long time. And just from practicing it slow, the speed will come. Trying to play quickly just produces incorrect movements and patterns, and you'll kind of actually ruin your hand. So next we got a Tihai. This is a 64 matra Tihai, which means it's going to go straight through from Hare Krishna to Hare Rama. So we got Dhe-dhin, and I call it a Tihai, but it's a hand practice hatuti that, you know, as usual, is not formulated into any type of real tal and is unusable for people. So I've taken all these and written them into, you know, because there's enough stuff here to write a full Tihai starting from Hare Krishna. So it acts as a Tihai and also hand practice for a lot of different things here. So many different techniques in Mridanga. So we have this Dhe-dhin, deregena. You'll see as it's written out, there's a space there. Dhe, 3 fingers, din, 1 finger, close, soft, Din is always very soft on the index finger, as we've discussed before, Dhe-dhin, but this din, ge is strong. So Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, deregena, teretere, ketataka, Tereketa. So let's look at this. Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, teretere, ketataka, Tereketa. First part. Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin. So that din is the most important part of this whole part here. Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, teretere, ketataka, Tereketa is cool, but it doesn't have a lot of you know, purpose in terms of power. Like, it takes a lot for your hand to be able to play it, but it's not a super important mantra per se. It's really segues into other things usually. So you've got the most power is if you miss everything else in the mantra, you just need to get the phrase you know, forget about the rest of it, but that's kind of the phrasing of it. So then we have deregena, deregena. So we've practiced all of these already in other videos, and now we're slowly building. So you're using all of these different techniques slowly in your kirtan. Dhe-dhin, deregena, dhe-dhin, deregena, dhe-dhin, teretere, deregena, deregena, right? Deregena, deregena. So they got deregena, deregena. And they got genetere, 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 tereketa, jha. So we've learned these patterns as well, right? Right? Genetere, we've learned all these different patterns in different ways. Now we're putting it into a tall structure that works. So let's look at this. So we've got genetere, keta, tisra, genetere, keta, boljati, tisra, genetere, keta, genetere, keta, genetere, tereketa, jha. Now all the jhas in this are going to be separated a little bit. Keta, we're not going jha. Just a little bit, you know, more flair. It's the type of mantra where you have enough space, the jhas, to do that. So that's what we're doing here. So the whole first part here is, let's see here. Well, there's more to it. But so we're up to, so dhe-dhin, deregena, dhe-dhin, deregena, dhe-dhin, tere, ketataka, tereketa, deregena, deregena, kenetere, so that's what we're up to so far. And then, depending on the speed, if you've got enough speed, you can go jha-uru, keta. So you can add jha-uru, right? Jha-uru, if you're playing it quite quickly, you won't have room for the uru, so that will come also depending on your hand speed. Again, right? So we got teretere, Tereketa, kenetere, Tereketa, deregena, deregena, jha, right? 2, 2, 2. So we have this whole thing of 8, right? Teretere, Tereketa, kenetere, deregena, 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 jha. So we practice all these, now we put them into something that works as a nice phrasing. Teretere, jha, jha. So the whole first part. So that's the whole first part. Let's do it slowly. Chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So I'm gonna have to extend that because this is meant to be played in double speed. But if I'm singing it slowly, I'm gonna have to extend. So Hare Krishna. So that's extended, but normally it's played twice as fast, and we'll look at that after. So then, second part, Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, deregena, jha. So we're just doing this again, right? So instead of, so we're taking the first part that we've got that pattern of Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, deregena, and now we're adding in this concept of jha, and you'll see how it breaks out. You can break out your Dhis like this a lot for your 32 matra Dhis at the end. And they work in this pattern of going, so you'll see Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, right? Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, deregena, jha, Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin. a lot of these you'll start with the Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, deregena, jha-a, and then you'll break it out later into just Dhe-dhin, deregena, jha-a, Dhe-dhin, deregena, jha-a, Dhe-dhin, deregena. So you're just adding more and more power as you progress through that pattern. So this pattern starts with Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, deregena, jha-a, jha-a, Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, deregena, jha-a, jha-a, Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, deregena, Dhe-dhin, deregena, jha-a, Dhe-dhin, deregena, jha-a. So let's see. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. So let's look at the whole thing now. They didn't get it, they didn't get it, they didn't get it. Hare Where are we? Alright, let's start at the start. Hare Krishna. Oh yeah. Hare Krishna. Works. You can see as you get better as well, you can really feel that index finger close nicely on there as well. You're getting nice wrist rotation rather than it being really open or slappy or something like that. So anyways, have a look at that and kind of read through the whole mantra and try to figure out all the different parts, how I showed. And obviously that will take quite a bit of time and practice to get that and get all the different techniques and stuff like that. But very cool. You don't ever see anyone playing Dhis like this and stuff. And especially if you start Dhis at Hare Krishna, people really don't know what's going on because not many people know how to play any Dhis that are that long. So, you know, bear with people and try to find friends to play with and practice. But yeah, anyways. It's fun. So next hand practice. Tereketa, kenetere, tereketa. Now this has two different versions. One for practicing your nak, one for practicing 4 fingers closed. 4 fingers closed and nak can be interchanged if they're in certain positions in the mantra. Tereketa, kenetere, tereketa. So I've written nak, but let's just start with tak to show that. Tereketa, kenetere, tereketa, tak. Tereketa, kenetere, tereketa. Tereketa, tereketa, kenetaka, tereketa, ketak, ketak. Tereketa, kenetere, tereketa, tak. Tereketa, kenetere, tereketa, tak. Tereketa, tereketa, ketataka, tereketa, ketak, ketak. Tereketa, kenetere, tereketa, tak. Tereketa, that's one version. Tereketa, kenetere, tereketa, tak. Tereketa, kenetere, tereketa, tak. Tereketa, tereketa, ketataka, tereketa, ketak, ketak, tereketa. First version. Second version. Tereketa, kenetere, tereketa. Now here you're using 3 fingers, right? Every time. Tereketa, kenetere, ketenak, right? Ketenak. We've learned this already. Very important to get that technique. Tereketa, right? Tereketa, kenetere, ketenak. 3 fingers. Ketenak. Tereketa, kenetere, keteketa. See, the thing with mridanga is most people, you watch them play, and it's like there really is no tal because there's not a set structure and meter of like the mridanga is being hit this way, the same way every time, with clarity and punctuality on, you know, we're hitting, right? Tere, keta, kene, tere, now like ketenak. Now how many people are really going ketenak, right? Ketenak when they're playing mridanga? Are they really hitting the te and a nak? How are they hitting their nak? What style are they using? Did they even know to use 3 fingers to come up? Like, are they going... Like, there's just a lot of stuff that happens in between when people aren't clear on exactly what they're supposed to do with their fingers. And all of this leads to a sound that kind of mimics what it's supposed to be. But for some reason or other, you know, especially devotees, they can sense that like there's something that just is not right. You know, the deities are not as pleased as they could be. The crowd is not as pleased. And there's just something missing, you know, and there's different levels of bhakti, there's different levels of consciousness, there's different levels of, you know, where people are at in their plane, you know, tamasic, rajas, you know, pure goodness, transcendental. So there's all these different levels, but at least practicing your hand and having some understanding of tal and knowing exactly what each hit is going to really bring your mridanga playing up to a whole nother level. Because in the system I was originally taught by Babalu, the wording was so confusing and there was no standardized system to learn mridanga, honestly. And, you know, especially with 3 fingers, there was zero clarity, and every single time that I learned from him on what the 3 fingers were in so many different instances. You know, are they closed? Are they open? Is it a ta? Is it a ne, a ni, this, that? And it was just so confusing. I never really learned what to do with them. So here, hands hitting my phone. So here you're learning this practicing, right? So every time we're going, right? It's the same pattern. You see how this hand practice of going gena, tage, reta, kete gives you this power of kete, right? Because you're going. It's like thumb to 4 fingers, except you're having an open hit. So all of these hand practices are genius in how they create these patterns. If you don't do them, you're never ever going to be able to play like this. It's just, it's impossible. And the more that I delve into it, my playing is just becoming, you know, very, very different in the things that you're able to do. And it's not hard. You just have to follow the process. There has to be a process that's clear and understandable, and you just work through it, and the fruit will all come. Tereketa, kenetere, ketataka. Tereketa, teregena, kenetere, teregena. Right, so you want to get that power, The more power and the speed that you have, the greater the nucks become, because you really need a lot of rotational speed to flow that right into the nut. So that's a really good hand practice as well. Let's see here. Note these down. That's done. 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 So, different type of hand practice. Now, starting to learn the basics of using this in kirtan as well as a hand practice, right? Gena, tere, gena, de. We've learned this already, right? Gerga, right? We've gone over this, that gena, tere, gena becomes gerga in double speed. But it's only a laya jati tisra, so you need the de to make it whole for 4. Laya jati of 4, right? So we have gergete, and we've already been over this too, where the ger is strong and the de is strong, but the hand is soft. So you have this gergete, right? Gergete. Can you see that? Gergete. See how my hand is not strong on the de? It's not gergete. It's gergete. Only the te is strong on the de, not the bottom end. Take a lot to split your brain up, but you have to learn how to hit that. Only the te is strong on the de. So we're just rolling along with this and learning how to chant with it, right? So so you want to get proficient at that. Gergede. Now you can really slap that like I'm away on work right now and in a place here, and try not to make too much noise, but when you're in kirtan, especially on the day for the ta, you can really slap the top of the mridanga as you get some power and proficiency and suppleness in your hand. And it's so much fun to play these mantras again. Never see anyone playing them. I would love to see other people play these just to be able to hear them myself. But practice these, and all of these then start, you don't have to just use it like that. It becomes a tool where, as we progress, you start to see more and more built off these. You start to see them put into all the different Prabhupada beats that I'll give, and all the different styles of kirtan, and they can just be used everywhere and anywhere, and in so many different circumstances. So really important to practice these. Hare Krishna, Krishna I guess you guys can see my wall of supplements and protein there. I do work out a lot. Done. All right, let's do one more hand practice here. Which one is this? Kenetere, tereketa, kene, tage, reta, keta, teretere. Okay. So this one's not too bad. The next one's harder, but we'll go over that later. Kenetere, tereketa, kene, tage, reta, keta, teretere. So there's so many. You're gonna see there's so many different ways that you can use this kene, tage, reta, keta, and segueing in, as we saw in the last one. Breaking it up into different bull jati patterns and having it segue into so many different mantras after. So this one, we've got the full version of it, right? Kene, take, reta, kete. But now we're going from te to te before. We're going kene, take, reta, kete, right? So we took the kete out and changed that into kene, take, reta, kete. Here we've got kene, take, reta, kete, so we're segueing back into this hand practice of Tereketa. So we got kenetere, right? Kenetere. These are just, and again, I've written all these myself because none of the ones that I received were useful, particularly. Everything was there, it just wasn't in a way that really benefited me. So these have all been really designed to, and you're gonna see just how much this opens your hand up, especially when we start getting into more fingering. Like, your hand is just gonna be so loose and it's gonna move exactly how it needs to, and you'll be pretty amazed at how it all comes together. So kene, tere, tere, kete, kene, take, reta, kene, your wrist and hand just is so loose, it just feels so nice, you know? Kene, tere, tere, kete, kene, take, look at that. So you're coming from the te, you're leaving on the te and coming straight up to a te. Genius. So many ways that you can use your hand. Alright, so that's it for today. We've gotten through a bunch, and we'll keep making videos. Hare Krishna.